I'm Jessica Besson, Mercer County Extension Agent for Horticulture, and I would like to welcome you back to another episode of Horticulture in Mercer County. And today we are one of our more unique horticulture enterprises in the county, one of our Christmas tree farms that we have. And I'm joined by the farm owner, John Bernarski for Sherwood Acres. And thank you for having us out and letting us highlight your farm. And do you care to share with us a little about your farm and how you decided to get into Christmas trees?
Sure. We started farming here about 7 years ago with our beef cattle operation. We originally started in Oldham County, but bought this property down here about 7 or 8 years ago and brought our beef cattle down. We're in the retail beef business. And in the winter of 2001, we were sitting around the Christmas tree, and my daughter and her husband and my sister and her husband, we started talking about Christmas trees and how as kids we used to go out and cut them at a Christmas tree farm, and we thought, wouldn't that be fun to do right here on our farm?
Yeah.
So we actually planted our first trees in the spring of 22, which are right behind us. And we actually started with trees that were not bare root, not little plugs, but actually in 4-gallon containers, hoping to get maybe a jump start on that
Good
growing.
sized trees to start with.
Right. And so we have just finished our third spring of planting and our largest. And so we have about 2,000 trees in the ground here at Sherwood Acres, Christmas tree farm we call it.
Okay.
And then we have another 1,000 or so at my sister and her husband's house next door.
Okay. Yeah, so starting off like quite large production here in the county. And you know, I mentioned that Christmas trees are kind of unique. And we don't see a lot of Christmas tree farms in Kentucky just because sometimes our environment is a little harder for them to grow in. I think a lot of people think that they're easy, that you can just set them out and come back a couple years later and get, you know, have all these Christmas trees. But there is a lot of work that goes into taking care of Christmas trees. Do you care to share a little bit about how your schedule is through the year taking
Sure.
care of these so everyone can know?
Typically we plant in the spring of the year. We get our plants and trees typically from Michigan or northern states, and you have to order them a year in advance today because the demand for Christmas tree farming has just grown tremendously in other states. But you are right, Kentucky is kind of a marginal state in terms of being able to grow a lot of different species and varieties. And when we started, we got involved with the Kentucky Christmas Tree Association early on, joined that organization to kind of see what other people were planting so that we weren't planting trees that just weren't going to grow here.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of varieties that people are used to, Fraser fir, Doug fir, some of the balsam fir that just don't do well in our climate because of the heat. And then after the first year with these trees behind us and about a 25% loss, we realized we needed to do some things different. And so that fall we put in irrigation on those trees, and then we have put in irrigation for all the 3,000 trees that we have. And Kentucky's weather, I guess really anywhere in the Midwest, is just so unpredictable. And so having that irrigation and monitoring the soil moisture content has really been key to keeping these trees alive.
It's really helped them out a lot. Yeah. So you mentioned some different varieties because, you know, we always see like the Fraser fir when you go to the Christmas tree lot. Are there any unique varieties that you have that you would like to share about that you're growing?
Sure. We've started with the trees behind us, which are Norway and white spruce, which are very popular in the area, and they do well in some of our clay soils. And but then as we got into it further, we found that needle retention on a Norway spruce is not that great. And so as a choose and cut operation where people will come here and pick out their tree, and they need to have a tree that they can come and get on Thanksgiving. Where these Norways, we really won't let them go home until about a week before Christmas.
Okay.
So the following year we investigated fir trees, softer needle. People like the feel of them a little bit better. And so we have Canaan fir, which actually originated in West Virginia. And so we have quite a few of those. The trees we planted this spring, about 1,240 of them are all Canaan firs. And then we did some exotic firs. We have some Turkish fir, Korean fir, Nordman fir, and concolor fir also. And the idea with those is maybe a little more adaptable to this climate. We've had some challenges with Phytophthora, which is a root rot that is sometimes in the soil here in Kentucky, and so those trees are a little bit more hardy, and so you know, we've tried some different things. Have a few pines, but not many. Most of our pines, Scotch pine or white pine or Virginia pine, those will be used for roping or put into Christmas wreaths, which we'll make here on the farm as well.
Well, speaking of that, you mentioned making wreaths and everything on the farm. So when is your opening? You know, we're here in the summer right now, during production season when everything is growing. But what's the goal? I know you have a gift shop, and you're planning to have other activities out here at the farm. And
right.
What does that look like?
Well, we really want to make it an agritourism event, and you know, people are so far removed from the farm, and to be able to bring back you know, the millennials and their kids now. To something that we did with our children, you know, years and years ago is a great opportunity. So we're hoping that we'll open this Christmas, obviously not with our own trees because they're not ready, but we'll buy cut trees either from Kentucky growers or maybe an adjoining state, and bring them onto the farm and still provide the whole farm experience. We've got a Christmas tree truck for pictures, and we'll have kids activities, and as I mentioned earlier, wreath making, maybe table settings and stuff like that. So we'll have a whole host of activities, and you know, try to be open around Thanksgiving through the season.
All right. Well, thank you so much for letting us come out today and highlight your farm, and look forward to continuing this series, and hope you join us for our next episode of Horticulture in Mercer County. Thank you.